betwixt the raising of the undying emperor and the great planar war that shook the heavens, there was an age of contradiction, where cannons won kingdoms and muskets kept the peace. A brave few won the hearts of the conquered and conquerors alike. Of these, we speak of the decline of the great
Erotic D&D nut, how's it going?
under the heel of empire.
A
Of
dong-themed
those,
campaign,
we speak of gladiators and the untold thousands that worshipped them. And this, an age of glory, where kings would be slaves and a gladiator would be king.
Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus campaign episode 33. I'm your demon host Marty, joined by Adam and Mark. How are you guys doing? I'm going to unmute the mics. The mics are now hot.
Hello.
Hot like that dong theme campaign. Sorry.
Yeah, but it got too hard.
it got through the end of week filters, man. normally that doesn't. The puns. All right. How is everyone doing this fine Friday evening?
It's hot. It is so hot here.
It is warm.
It is balmy,
35 C all damn day, but
yeah. My apartment's like
yeah.
72 right now, so
Yeah.
Canada Day weekend. I'm looking forward to like beer and yard work, I guess.
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, I gotta mow my brother's lawn, so that's a thing. That's gonna happen. But it's better than actually being at work, because 35 degrees out mowing the lawn is better than 35 degrees wearing long underwear, wearing cotton overalls, wearing leather overalls, and standing next to a stream of molten metal.
Like inside a carburetor. Like,
Right.
That sucks.
What's the name of the lava planet where where Vader was born?
Volcanica, yes. Or
Mustafar or something like that.
Mustafar, yeah.
Darth Vader. Mark slowly becoming Darth Vader.
I got the respirator, I do. I have the respirator.
Awesome.
but who are you going to say has the high ground? People at the high ground.
Just keep on saying it to somebody who interacts with you until they know what you're talking about.
You know what? There's one guy I work with who would get it. There's one guy who you would get it.
Nice. All right. So we're playing the which group we toggle week to week or game to game between two groups of gladiators, or masters. One group are masters of Eludis and their gladiators, and then these gladiators were captured. The other group is a group that was captured during a war and forced into becoming gladiators themselves. And they have kind of a one-up on their current master named Radimer, the necromancer. So why don't we do a recap of what happened to the last group? You should probably watch the episodes that you missed, guys. Because the episode back on the 13th was episode 31, and it was called An Ounce of Prevengeance.
That's a good name.
Commander Root, thanks for the follow. After discovering their guide's ruse, the gladiators of the Circus of Dread travel ahead of the caravan to deal with an ambush intended for the Countess. So what they did was went to a place called the Dusty Bow Roadside Inn and surprised those that were waiting at the inn and were supposed to meet up with their guide ahead of the caravan. Of course, at the inn, what do? Drink, eat, and, fornicate. That's for you, erotic.
Spanky battles.
And they were not ready for an ambush themselves. They were basically waiting for this caravan to show up and waiting for an advance notice. So the gladiators came in and defeated, and by defeated I mean slew, a noble by the name of Lord Hiron. I have his full name. Now, Lord Hiron... let me see. Where are their bodies? Did we delete them? Did we delete the bodies? He was the full plate guy.
Yep.
You like swanky paddles.
Rakon, Cora, Catonine, and I don't see Lord Hiron's body anywhere. I think you brought his body back
Did
with you.
Radimer do something with it?
No, you brought his body back with him. Lord Hiron Vars. The Countess said that basically nobody will miss Lord Hiron Vars, including his own servants and wife. This man was a bit megalomaniacal and thought the old ways of traveling the back roads and butchering people would somehow get him and elevate him to become king of not only Vaed, but also Vade, which is the duchy that Vatapul is in.
He's not royal again.
Yes, so she was surprised that you killed him, but it didn't, it turned to, he got what he always wanted. If he lived by the sword, he would then die by the sword. She called him a relic, of an older age.
Chat is saying he was a 12th level cavalier?
He was a 12th level cavalier that you caught without his armor.
Him with his pants down.
Yes.
So a cavalier with no pants and no horse?
No armor?
Now, he was hitting after challenging, I think, Mortenzie for plus 12 damage, and you should have seen Mark go, how much damage? He's like, how do cavaliers work again? And I know you were looking. I know you were probably looking.
Are you sure you're doing that right?
Ahmed is not able to make it tonight. He will be here tomorrow when we play the other group in this particular campaign. Also, some housekeeping news. So my in-person game that I normally run, we're about 40 games into our campaign, and all of them want to stream. So in about 3 or 4 weeks, we will stream on Tuesday nights the Titan's Gift campaign. We will start with brand new characters in the same campaign world that they've been introduced, and it should be a lot of fun. There'll be some new faces, basically, on the stream, aside from my old beard. All right. So they managed to pull one over on the would-be ambushers, and I believe we left off with you guys dragging Lord Hiron Vars and a bunch of magic gear that you found from the Dusty Bow Roadside Inn. I think Mortenzie looted one of the rooms. And I listed a bunch of junk. Mortenzie, like living in a cage for probably the last 10 years, as a guest of the Durgar of, what is that duchy called? Vivernus.
Yep.
And let me just rhyme off all the things that you managed to grab. Of course, you didn't ask for an appraise check to see if there were.
No,
you just grabbed anything that wasn't nailed down. So Mortenzie's right now off to the side, going through his ill-gotten loot, which includes a doily cloth, 5 tinder twigs, a small water basin with a crude engraving of horses on it, 3 bars of soap, a down-filled quilt, a brass candle holder with 3 pine-scented candles, an iron-wrought fire poker with a branded leather handle, a pewter cup with copper trim, a silver-plated 2-pronged meat fork, a wreath of pine cones with green ribbons, a small wicker basket, and a 10-point rack of deer antlers mounted on a wooden plaque. So, Mortenzie's going through this bag of junk, unsure of what's worth.
To helmify the antlers for Mortenzie.
Yes.
Right.
The rack of Mortenzie.
Now, the other gear that you guys are likely pausing for a moment to look at was much better. I can't read it off anymore because they have since taken that gear and moved it to character sheets. So what I'm going to say is after the fight, you guys then spend an hour in the road still not moving anywhere, going over your loot. At some point, finally, Radimer gets finishes fiddling in his spell book and comes over to talk to all of you. The Countess seems to be pleased that Lord Hiron Vars is dead. She suggested that you bury him in a shallow grave just at the side of the road.
Yeah, okay.
Arlen
Sam
retreats.
won't go about the-
Arlen retreats to the covered wagon to chat with the Countess. He did tell me that Arlen wants to be friends with the Countess, so he will spend some time while he's not here. Or his character will spend some time. So it ends up being Sam and Roger grabbing the shovels. They end up doing a lot of the dirty work, plus Ugg. While Edward stands there and just keeps you company. Well, it is very awkward if there's 3 shovels, to get in there to dig the grave. So there's not three shovels. There's only 2 shovels.
Two's a party, 3's a crowd, right?
That's right. And who else is going to hold Roger's flask for him? Yeah, give me some of that. That's what he says. Edward just pours it into Roger. So did you see that? Did you see that? The Lady Dove? The one that I saved, says Roger.
And by saved, he means let go. He let her go. He let her steal his horse and go.
You, good job.
Yeah, I know. We'll probably meet her down the road a little bit, and then she could properly thank me. That's what he says. Leaning on his shovel, you realize you're the only one digging at this point.
Smack the shovel out that he's like.
Oh yeah. All right, you smartass. Hey, you're fucking strong now, aren't you? Of course, he's referring to the fact that Samuel died as a halfling and got reincarnated as a Goliath, and he is now called Samuel the Giant. Why don't I go to the map so you guys can fucking see what we're talking about? The Dusty Roadside Inn is where they had the fight, and then they rode Sorrow.
That's kind of a good thought there. So that guy was like a renowned dick, right?
Who? Were you just talking
Yep.
into the okay? Yes. Aptly put, the Countess says.
Was there any sort of bounty, anything like that?
In these back roads in wild territories, the law is sometimes the length of your sword.
He taps the whirligig. Each blade might be small, but there's lots of them.
I don't think there was a specific bounty, dear, but if there were ever one to have a bounty against, it might be him.
Kind of had to find out that sort of thing, because you might end up just being thrown in the stocks.
He had enough title that I'm sure that he got away with 101 minor crimes that a good law-abiding citizen or subject of the Empire couldn't.
The Lady of Doves was the spanker.
Pardon?
No, that was someone else.
Okay. The lady
The dead people, the people that you killed, was Rekon. He was a some sort of pugilist orc, and then a priestess of, I believe, Hextor, who was core of the Catonines. Now there was a stand. You did let the mage live. You do know that there was a court mage that
We kidnapped the mage, didn't we?
No, you left him. You left him behind. You were confronted, and you ended up knocking him out. And then you ran off to grab treasure, and you left the mage behind. There was a standoff, and Arlen spoke harsh words with Kata, who is a dwarven woman who owned and ran the tavern. She started attacking Arlen, screaming about how the elves gave this place up and that they shouldn't be coming back. Like, it was all fair, and then Arlen kind of threw that back in her face, and it did not resolve amicably. You know you're not allowed to go back into the inn. Like, there will probably be violence if you do so. Sam and Ugg also refused to loot the bodies because they didn't like how murdery things got.
It was a little.
You guys looked like the aggressors.
Yeah. Well, if we snuck attack a bunch of people and killed them.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Ugg and Sam are both 100% capable of knocking people out and being like, that'll learn them. They'll wake up in the morning with a splitting headache.
Yeah. When Mortenzie was running into random rooms and grabbing things,
he just gave them a split head.
That's when and the innkeeper was screaming to leave, and you guys were like on our own terms, and still robbing. That's where Ugg and Sam drew the line a little bit. You may want to watch the end of that episode.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to watch the very end of that.
What was the very end?
Major John's.
Oh yes, we'll get to that. There was a cutscene that you don't know.
Well, good.
A teaser, if you will.
Oh, was it a preview, Marty? A preview that you hate?
Hey man, I'm just trying to keep up the times. You can do it once in a while. It's just like if I showed you exactly what was going to happen throughout the entire episode, and it's like, well, I can't do that because it's D&D. Right.
So I'm looking at the token of Major John
We'd be reluctant to play.
And I know that's the same actor
next
doing
week, as
Blackadder.
Ahmed's character dies.
Yeah.
What?
That's
funny.
the same character doing Blackadder the next season.
Okay. So you guys lingered on the side of the road, going through magic items. You've been sifting out things. Undwin's been helping you identify them. You dig a grave. You stick Lord Hiron's naked body into the grave. I think he had his head caved in.
Yes.
Okay, so it's very hard to figure out who he is.
The dirt comes and takes us all, and you can talk to the stones. So, shoveling dirt in.
I am not sure what happens in the afterlife, but if Samuel says that you can talk to the stones, then I suppose you can talk to the stones. And Edward just kicks a little bit of dirt into the grave. Hey, Roger. He was going to walk off with Roger's flask, and Roger goes and grabs it back.
He has an endless flask of booze.
No, it's just a flask with booze in it.
Oh. Well, just classic flask. Cool. Yeah. So, are we the bad guys?
I don't think so. It sounds like he was a raging penis, says Edward. Huh. It sounds like he got what he deserved, says Roger. That's about as much as you're going to make Roger feel bad. Ugg's been tending to the horses and avoiding all of this. What are we going to do? Do we simply ride by the inn now?
You want to do it at night, or do you want to go around another way?
I do not think that we would be very welcome, says Edmund, or Edward, sorry. There is a roundabout in front of the inn. We can turn the wagons around, but we'd already be there. Yeah, fuck 'em. Stupid dwarf was attacking Arlen, says Roger. Yes, but from their perspective, I can see how we might be the ones that cause the mayhem.
Ugg and I can handle the dwarves if you roll past.
I was rather looking forward to spending a night in an inn instead of another night in this carriage. But I suppose if we must move on, we must move on, says the Countess.
Which was going to offer trading carriages because he thought it was like Sir Pauldro, but the woman, no, we're not going to. What time of the day is it?
When did you go?
Vin, because I thought it was approaching sleepy time when we got to the.
Yeah, when you, yeah,
it's 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's probably like 6 or 7 at night. It's close to morning, right? No, it was later in the day, I believe, because they were all drinking and having fun.
Well, I think like it was. The intent was for us to stay at that tavern, or was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you guys wanted to rest, but you convinced Arlen that you guys had enough power to go. That's after you chased down Valen.
Yeah, we opted to hit them when we knew they weren't ready versus getting our spell, because we used a lot of.
We put a bunch of magics into Mortenzie scouting.
Yep.
And we put a lot of magic into catching Valen of the Vastwood as he tried to escape. he's currently in.
But you didn't rest. You decided to move on, right? That was the same.
So we pushing on. We resting here. What's the plan? What's the deal?
You would have to just kind of unhook the wagons where you are and rest on the side of the road. There's no place for you guys to turn around without hacking up a lot of forest.
Yep.
I'm sure some of the strong guys, though, if you unhooked your horses, could probably push the wagons around.
Like pick them up and rotate them. Yeah. How, Mark? Gut check. Are they gonna is it gonna be like lethal violence if we walk past their inn?
I don't see why there would be. I see some.
That sounds like bullshit, Mark.
No. See, there's two dwarves, that are angry with us, but I don't think they're going to attack us, if only out of sheer fear.
Yeah, it'd be insane. I think we just move past.
That's what I say. We ride right past.
Okay. Yeah, and we do need Uker. Uker would solve this problem in a second. Uker would throw the wagons over the inn.
Uker would throw the inn. What are you talking about?
Move the inn. No, we don't want to go past the inn. No, let's move the inn over.
All right, so I'm going to go to the map where I've got the Dusty Bow Roadside Inn, and I'm going to paste the caravan, the entire caravan. I can move the entire caravan because I have the power. He-Man. Okay. As the day runs long, your caravan, which at the vanguard is a necromancer, his disguised ghoulish thrall, a undead monkey, and pulling a death cart, or driving a death cart pulled by a skeletal boulet or landshark, because that is the way that you say hello. People decide
not to I got my dwarvish axe, I'm going to get me a pound of flesh.
Yep. Want to place your characters on the wagons that you're riding?
Okay. Zoom in here for a second. Mortenzie's gonna stay in the cage with Valen to make sure he stays quiet.
Okay. Do you have the key, or does Beric Tarn have the key?
No, he lets Beric Tarn keep the key. He doesn't
Okay.
mind.
Oh, look at Valen. Oh, got his ass kicked so bad. Oh.
All right, you can see the inn up ahead. It is an older stone structure that has been overgrown by a lot of vines, and the forest is kind of choking all around it. It looks like in maybe another decade or two, the entire inn would be swallowed by the surrounding forest if something did not change. You notice that the doors are closed. There are a couple of bodies that have been... they've been arranged in a nice orderly way. They weren't just sort of left. Somebody's touched them and kind of leaned them up against the side of the inn. Doors are closed.
Just right on past.
Okay.
I mean, unless somebody wants to, unless we desperately need the wizard.
No.
Right on past.
Okay, as you're riding on, you do notice that this window opens a little bit. You don't see anyone at the window, however.
All right.
Mortenzie waves at the window.
Okay, so the first people to get perception checks are Edward and Widget.
Widget is actually going to just cast a image. Just put a big door in front of the window.
You're casting illusion.
Illusionary door in front of the window, like illusionary brick wall.
Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. Perception checks.
Okay.
As the circus rolls on by.
13. Widget known for his perception. It was Widget and Edward.
That doesn't quite get it.
Edward. Edward does not know how to see the thing. He rolls a 12 and adds a wisdom of 3. 15?
Okay. No, not after the illusion went up. There may have been some movement in the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
You do see, as you're turning around the corner, a couple of guys that are watching you.
Okay.
There's a guy with blonde hair and a blonde mustache leaning on a rapier at his belt.
Look very closely at him.
Well, yeah, that's Lord Flashard. I like the shows.
And there's an angry dwarf with a heavy wooden shield in his hand and an axe that is out, and he's kind of just waving the axe like, "Come on and get some." The other guy does not look concerned at all. In fact, he's leaning
Fuck
against
you too.
he's leaning against the door and he's rolling a cigarette.
So does he have a rapier or does he have a gladius thing?
He has a rapier.
Okay. I'm pretty certain Roger says, "Yeah, fuck you too." He might say it quietly to himself, but he's, that's just Roger's way.
Yeah, Roger's like, "Don't worry, we'll look after her." And then Ugg doesn't really look at them. Mortenzie. Oh.
Mortenzie just smiles and waves. Hello.
Yeah. Was the blonde guy involved in anything?
You do not recognize the blonde guy.
All right.
Perception check? At this distance, yeah.
There's a 15 and there's a
15, you might think a military type.
29 from Sam.
Sam notices that in the guy's jacket, there's a large dark stain on the rear side of his jacket. It might have been a little hole, like the person wearing that jacket might have been stabbed in the kidneys.
Yeah, he's wearing a dead man's coat.
Yep.
That, Roger,
Yeah.
keep an eye on the blonde guy.
The fuck's he gonna do?
I don't like him.
Yeah, well, we gotta fucking sleep in with all the fucking mosquitoes instead of sleeping in the inn. Should've just told them. We're gonna stay there.
He reaches around Bortho.
Yep.
Smacks him on the back. You just need to grow a thicker skin.
You gotta remember, I was at war before we captured you. I've seen all sorts of shit.
I was in a little box.
He's now grumpy about thinking about how you guys robbed him of his military career by branding him as a gladiator, and he turns to his flask. Okay, you take you have a miserable night, a couple hours away from the inn. The bugs are particularly bad this night. Let's roll for a random encounter. There is no random encounter. I'm going to open up the world map to show you guys where you're headed.
Where are we going?
I could change the maps, or I could just show you a sneak peek at this. Okay. Where my mouse is, you guys are leaving the Duchy of Vaed. The capital of Vaed was the Castle of Vaed, and you are traveling through the forest and out into this hilly farmland between the two duchies of Vaed and Vade. Eventually, you do reach what are basically like well-patrolled roads, and you kind of get out of these backwater roads that your guide had led you down. And in the distance, you see what at first you thought, and this is after many days of travel.
Do we know if these are the roads of horrible murder or other such monsters and things that just sort of lurk around the corner? Or are these more sane roads?
No, these are you find small villages where there are people. You do notice that you start encountering the deeper into Vade that you get military patrols.
Okay.
Well-armed military patrols, and of a significant size. At first, it's only a couple of guys on horseback, but by the time you reach this site of a majestic and crumbling castle, the patrols are perhaps entire units of military moving about. The view as you crest through a road that splits through a copse of trees and overlooks a small valley is that of a majestic castle, but then you realize how sad it looks. This place, is called Fallenstone, and it was a massive castle works that at one time was the castle of one of the kings of old, of Vaed and Vade. Now lay in quasi-ruins, and a military encampment / town now occupies those ruins. And I'm going to go and expose a map called Fallenstone.
Come on, Fallenstone.
Fallenstone are acres upon acres of castle works and large buildings and fortifications. There are imperial banners that are floating from some of the existing stoneworks. And all banners of past kings or glory of this place have been washed away. This place, knowledge, geography, does anyone have it?
Oh,
Nope.
give me a second.
I think
Wilbur.
Undwin does. I think the boy is your...
Wilbur has geography. 26.
Okay. Wilbur, you know that the name of the place wasn't called Fallenstone. This is the imperial name for it. One of the most powerful kings, and the one that stood up against the Imperium, called his home this castle. This huge stone fortress. It was battered in a massive battle that gave the castle its name, the Battle of Fallen Stones, which was a major victory for the Imperium, but almost like a horror story for those that lived in this proud castle. Before the Imperium, they thought that this fortress would never fall. Like, it was impregnable. Even a dragon attack could not make this place fall. But
Cannonballs disagreed.
But 2,000 cannon and 50,000 Imperial soldiers with muskets sure made good work of it, and they made such an impression on the conquered that Vaed didn't fight in any battles after that. Like, they won this section of the world through this conquest. The souls that may still linger here, Sam, are in the hundreds, if not thousands. You kind of remember when you were a spirit, a weird glow coming from this place. An ethereal one. While this was not the west you were supposed to not go to, this may be some sort of ethereal meeting ground, or spirits from that day may still linger here.
This place is haunted.
It is, however, alive with activity. It's a military camp in town, located in and around the sprawling ruins of Fallenstone. In addition to entire camps of soldiers that belong to the Duke of Vaed, which is Duke Dragol of Vatapol, you find hundreds of support personnel, mercenaries, merchants, smiths, prostitutes, entertainers at Fallenstone. It is a marshalling grounds for the Duke, as well as Imperial armies in the region. And with your 26 knowledge geography, you know that somewhere in these stoneworks there is an Imperial gunsmithy. They repair and probably create bullets and gunpowder here, or create or at least store it. There is a gunworks here. Camp Fallenstone, which is its old name, also boasts a gladiatorial arena. Your caravan is stopped by guards. Like, this is the first time since, let's see, Vivernus, where you were stopped by guards?
Yeah, because we were in the wilds.
The guards don't seem to be too interested in all the things that you're carrying, as Fallenstone has turned into a major trading port, as soldiers need to eat and need to be supplied. They are suspicious of the big freaking skeletal thing, and are giving Radimer a bit of a hard time. You want to give me a diplomacy check for Radimer? As he is...
All right, Radimer.
Mr. Charisma.
He is
rather
Mr. Charisma.
charismatic. He is.
He's got a force of personality, we'll say. He's not necessarily happy-go-lucky.
32.
All right, Radimer, you hear him name drop that he is from the Protectorate of Kafrania, and that his family is His family and father is of the Order of Fossers, which means that he one day will be of the Order of Fossers as well. He shows them papers that you think allow Radimer to have undead that are not
reproducing.
Yeah, you may not have that amount of in depth, but you do hear him say that he's got his papers from the Imperial Academy that allow, or the not the Academy itself, but the Ministry of Arcana, that allow him to have undead and to practice necromancy. The guards, whether they're astute enough to realize forgeries from others, they end up waving them on. One captain does stop you guys, like almost like he was about to backpedal. He has a look at your caravan. You got a lot of demis with you, don't you? Ah, yes, they are gladiators. A lot of the demis stay at the Half-Tower. I suggest you go there if you're not looking for trouble. You may want to go and register your gladiators at the pit. We do things differently here. Soldiers could need a good fight. A good, fair one. If your gladiators are good for it. My gladiators are top-notch, Captain. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Punch a soldier man in the dick.
Okay. Radimer decides to not push his luck and moves past the patrol or the people that have set themselves up kind of at a stop point going into the city, and eventually is causing entire streets of people to move aside as this massive undead creature slowly and caravan slowly meanders their way through Fallenstone. I will move your entire caravan again because I have the power to Fallenstone, which looks like schmeh. Asking a few times, where is the Half-Tower? You are.
It's probably the one over there. It looks like broken in half.
You get the idea that moving into this area of the old fortifications, while some of them are only several stories tall, or maybe just a single story tall, they are used to partition the town, and you easily find yourselves in an area of town where there are a lot of demi-humans and goblins. Okay. They don't question you on your way in, however, you saw them questioning people on the way out.
We have we have a noble we have to. I don't think she's going to stay with goblins. That's just my thoughts.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah?
What the fuck is that?
You mean what the fuck? The fuck is what? Says Roger.
That one over there. It's green.
It's a fucking goblin, I think.
Isn't it too big to be a goblin?
It's an orc, maybe?
Huh.
Svarts. We were making fun of Svarts in Baldur's Gate. There's like these things called blue goblins, and we opened up the Wikipedia entry for Svarts and had a good lull. How's it going, Ed Villain? Yeah, Roger's in a pissy mood. He also kind of kept his head down when the soldiers were near, almost like he didn't want to be recognized. You notice him kind of burying himself in his own cloak, and he's got his arms crossed. He seems to be miserable being here. You do find yourselves at outside a significantly sized tower, and there is a goblin that is outside of these double doors. They do seem to have a barn beside it. I haven't drawn it, but if you want me to, I can. I'm going to go way to the...
fighting in the barn?
I'm going to go to the map called Pit of the Stone Bear.
Oh.
But the thing that we're looking at is the Half-Tower. It is a major circular tower that may have at one time, given the size of its base, been the central tower or a massive lookout tower and huge fortification. It now only is 2 stories tall, with a bit of the roof being the 3rd story. There is a goblin that is in a stockade, like in the stocks, right outside of the Half-Tower, and it says Half-Tower Inn and Taphouse, and then there's a couple of signs like a bed and a barrel for those that don't read.
A picture of a bugbear.
And you notice that there is something nailed into the front of the door.
Did it used to be attached to a person?
No, it is a heavy like a piece of yellowed paper. There's writing on it.
Widget will go read it.
Okay, so
He's an inquisitive sort.
all right, so the caravan is pulling up, and Widget hops off to go read the thing. You notice that the goblin moves a little bit. The goblin's got leathery hide. The only hair on his face is coming out of the sides of his ears and these really big bushy eyebrows. He's got a nose on him that's like a squished pear.
Huh.
He looks miserable.
We'll light a smoke.
He's not green. He's kind of brown. You're not too sure if that's dirt or not. And he's just in a goblin, a small size stalks.
Light a smoke. Look at him for like 5 seconds, then just move on.
You can hear laughter and a little bit of music inside. The piece of paper, you look at it, and
Yep.
it says, this place is sanctioned for housing demis, is effectively the shorthand of it. It's an official document from the generalship of Fallenstone.
All right, open the door.
It's weird in that this was nailed to the front door. Normally, a document like this would be just
be
inside,
behind the bar,
or it's like proof, and this thing looks like it's fresh. Like it's on yellow paper, but it doesn't look like it's hung there for a long time. You open the door, and there are all sorts of people inside the roundish tap room of the main floor of the Half-Tower. Immediately, you do see a guy that is leaning up against the wall. He could probably be in a gladiatorial pit. It looks like he's seen some fighting. He's a bald-headed human of no small strength. You see a comely half-elven woman cleaning a table along with a bunch of goblins that are also cleaning tables. The goblins have little serving trays that they seem to be wearing like hats, and are busy cleaning. She glances up and says, welcome to the Half-Tower. Seat yourself where you like." She looks really busy and like underhelped. You see off to the side a well-to-do gnome in a hat with a big feather. He's got an eye patch on, and he's sitting beside something whose breath you could almost see, and you saw out of the corner of your eye this massive horn with an iron tip at the end of it. There's something really big that this nervous goblin is trying to approach with a drink. To the right, you can see, let's see, your field of vision. You see knowledge religion.
Oh, this place is so cool. Oh my god. Make Star Wars great again. Exactly. 27.
She is wearing Imperial Inquisitor garb.
The lady with the hat.
The lady with the hat, and she's sitting in front of a guy who, while he looks quite old, still looks physically fit, and he's wearing an old school chainmail coif, which is what they call the thing over the head. And they seem to be sharing a mug of ale and talking about something. You notice that she's got a book as she's talking. She's like pointing at the book and exclaiming about something. You see this goblin who's not working. He's just got this nice little glass of what looks like sherry in front of him, and he's looking wistfully at the half elf as she's working. And a guy who's got pretty much everything that you could think of on his back, trying to peddle his wares to two guys that you can't quite see from your field of vision.
Widget's going to turn around. He's going to make a big wave. Come on. And in we go.
All right, in you go to the inn.
In we go. We're going to go and sit over here. This is where we're going to start. We're going to grab a chair on this side of this table.
Okay. As you go running in, while the place is parking, Mortenzie, you could probably wander in yourself. Grab the guys you think would not be helping with the animals and such. You notice this really, really nervous goblin trying to deliver this massive stein of frothing beer to what amounts to a ogre-sized bull man. He seems rather not quite tame, but he looks well behaved, and he grabs the drink and slams it down onto the table. He has
knowledge, arcane, and/or dungeoneering.
Knowledge nature for this guy.
What is a nature?
Oh right. It snorts at you when he catches you staring. Oh my! You had to pick this table, did you?
Widget will tip his hat to the snort.
Give me a diplomacy check. I'll be with you in a moment, she says.
I don't like you either. 14.
He doesn't do anything, but he just turns his head towards the table and then grabs this big haunch of meat and then begins tearing at it. You wonder if it's cow in your mind, but you decide that it's not probably the thing you should ask. Mortenzie, a little goblin, bumps into you as he's trying to get away from the minotaur. The goblin smiles nervously and looks down to the ground and then looks back up at you and is trying to get around you.
Zavis, you give us drinks, yes? Yes.
She'll be with you in a moment, it says. You must excuse him. Paul is such a horrible, employer,
says Mr. Bilk.
He doesn't allow the goblins to drink. He thinks that they'll drink him out of house and home. Who knows? He might be right.
This gnome says to Mortenzie.
Greetings, friends.
He hops over. He sees two gnomes walk in. He's speaking in gnomish, so if you don't speak gnomish for whatever reason, you're having a hard time.
No, I speak gnomish.
I speak gnomish.
Edward's just settling in.
My name's Mr. Bilk. Haven't seen the two of you around here before. You new?
I am Mortenzie.
just rolled in, friend. Wilbur Whitwick. Friends call me Widget.
I don't mind him. It's just Gan. Call him Bloodhorn. He's the champion of the Pit of the Stone Bear. You should probably go there and see him fight.
That's the champion? You sure?
Gnomish.
I'd be careful. He's picked up a few words. It's all right, Gan.
He switches into common.
It's all right, Gan.
Wilbur gives him a thumbs up.
You best not be challenging him unless you really want to challenge him. You see. Not too many soldiers have the guts or really want to fight something before they, go off to strange lands to conquer people and such.
They mentioned these pits here, and one kind of strange. what do they do different here?
Pit of the Stone Bear. A long time ago, they actually used real animals in the pit. You see, of course, the Imperial Rangers don't like that too much. And, the local elves get a little bit uppity whenever they, throw animals in for the slaughter. Yeah, they got a druid who summons animals instead. But that's neither here nor there. No. There are no team matches in the Pit of the Stone Bear. Only one-on-one. 2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Ooh.
He turns to Edward. You hear that? And then he switches back to Gnomish for the rest of the call.
Oh yeah, soldiers always like a fair fight.
Interesting. So,
Of course, I handle this one, is what he says. And let's just say it's not quite a fair fight. When Gan Bloodhorn steps into the pit.
we might have ourselves a challenger for that, man.
Really?
Bull, man, bull, horn guy.
Well, once Zatha comes over here and takes our drinks, maybe I'll buy you a round.
It's at this point you notice the 2 dudes and have to almost wipe your eyes to make sure you're not seeing double, because you are seeing double.
Weird anime-looking dudes.
They've got
Goggles.
they look muscular, fit. They're dressed in heavy leathers. They've got matching hats, spectacles, and they look almost the same.
I'm wondering where you got the art from, because those are 2 drawings of the same guy, but they're different drawings, and it's not just been mirrored, unless my eyes are tricking me.
No, I just mirrored them.
You just mirrored it?
Yeah,
My eyes are freaking tricking me. It looks like the hairs are different lengths. Jesus Christ. Goddamn.
They're buying something from this guy who's got his entire shop on his back.
Oh, you don't want to mess with them, bounty hunters.
I'm more interested in messing with her. And he points out across at the Inquisitor.
Get in line, friend. Oh, I thought you were talking about Zatha.
Oh,
From here, you can't see the Inquisitor. There are some staircase. There's a staircase that leads up and down from the central stair. This is a large wall. The small round circles are big barrels, and the larger
round.
circles are big round tables. And I didn't draw the chairs because that's a bit too much.
Amish Rangers. No buttons. Or no zippers.
All right,
So,
there's the second group who would be part of the second wave of people coming into the tavern to make sure everything's okay. Sam, Roger. Ug's probably helping with the animals. Barrack Tarn's probably helping with the animals.
Arlen's with the lady.
Unwin comes
At this
running
point,
in.
would Radimer be showing up?
Yeah, I think Radimer, Joran will probably oversee putting away the animals. The lady and her bodyguard, Paldro. Okay, there's a conversation outside. What are we going to do with the prisoners? Might I suggest you keep our guide gagged? Maybe put him in that contraption I saw you threaten Mortenzie with. That would do well. However, he is not a slave. He is... I'm sure that attempting my murder is enough for us to keep him in chains if it ever comes up. Of course, you could roll him around in the dirt a little bit to make him look more like a slave, says the Countess.
Sam did not like that guy. We're gonna go throw him in a shit pile.
Okay. Roger laughs at that. I think the old lady is growing on me. He says,
She's not bad.
do you think she's here, Sam?
Maybe.
You know that lady that I helped, that I gave Good Horse to?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe she'll need reward.
Valen's like, are you going to let me go? He's been dazed in this cart. He's looking pretty disheveled, but he still has some nice underclothing on.
It's time for your bath.
Thank goodness. It's a good time. Good time for a bath. Many days on the road. Many days in this stinky cart with Hey, it's all right. I can walk myself.
Here we go.